back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, when I was still a boy, around about 9 or 10, my model car collection mainly consisted of Matchbox and Corgi die-casts. I did have a few 1/4 scale models by a German company called Gamma, and I remember being fascinated by them because they were models of kind of real cars that you would see on the road. My first one was actually an Audi 80. And I remember going into the same model shop sometime later, around about 1991, and I saw this model here. Now this is a Gamma, made by Gamma. But you'll see it's in scale 1/24. Now it was £25. There was absolutely no way I was going to be able to afford that, and it was even out of the scope of birthday and Christmas money. I remember being amazed by it. It had all opening doors. And the BMW E36 was actually, still a fairly new car by then. It was quite a new model. Opening bonnet. Very different even to the Buragos that I also had in my collection. They didn't have any of these features at all. So forgot about it for a long time, and then in the last 10 years I've been able to get my hands on a collection of these cars. Some of them are in their boxes, and these are the ones in particular I want to show in this video tonight. They've been up in the loft for a long time, haven't seen them for ages. The ones in the front have been on display for a while, but the top ones have not, so I thought I would take them out their boxes and have a little look at them. Some of them are different ages, some of them are older, some of them are newer, and the Monza at the top is actually from the 1970s. So let's take a look at them. So the first one I want to show you is this Opel Monza. This is quite an old one. This is probably from the late 1970s. It's just in a plain cardboard box. Tells you a little bit about the car at the side. Now that's in German. Don't think it's in English, no. None of it's in English. I got this from a car show in 2010. So the box is in pretty nice condition. Let's have a look at the car. I don't think it originally came in this food bag, but it was there when I bought it, and it seems to hold it in place quite well. Now, this is quite a basic model. It doesn't have any steering, but you can see right away that it is more detailed than a Burago model of the time. It's got separate indicator lenses, it's got actual Vauxhall wheels. The interior is slightly more detailed. It doesn't have the red gear stick and steering wheel that a Burago would have. It's got these extra trim pieces there. Backlights are fairly basic. Underneath, it doesn't actually tell you the specs of the car. Gamma models usually did that. This is actually 1/25 scale, and it says made in Western Germany. That immediately dates it. That country no longer exists in that particular form. Let's go and take a look at the next one. So this next one is probably moving forward about 10 years. It probably dates from around about the late 1980s. So I think these have all the Ford branding. I'm not sure if they all had this, or whether this is actually a Ford promotional model. So on the back, it's got a UK version of the Sapphire. You can tell it obviously by the number plate, but also the UK Sapphires had a small grille between the leading edge of the bonnet and the bumper, whereas the European spec ones were like the hatchback counterparts, and the bonnet extended all the way down to the bumper. I rather like this. My uncle had one of these, an LX form, an F registration. Very nicely spec, very comfortable car back in its day. So this is obviously just to protect it, and it says tear off for presentation. Presumably that means in the shop. So you can see right away, although it's a UK car on the back, it's actually a German police car. The box isn't in the greatest of condition. The car's in great condition though, so let's take it out and have a look. I'm not sure if we need to take the inside out or whether we can just roll it out. I think we need to take the inside out. That's fine. There we go. So these are by Skabak. I think towards the end of the 1990s, maybe the mid-1990s, Shkabac and Gamma really were pretty much one and the same, and Schuko as well. A lot of the models you see with different badges on them, they are actually just the same thing. Anyway, so it's still quite a basic model, but as you'll see, this has got the European bonnet on it, separate indicator lenses, front and back, detailed dashboard, frame of the door opening, lots of separate pieces now. So these are all separate pieces of plastic. You've got some engine detail there, quite basic, but there nonetheless. Opening boot. One of the nicest things about these models of this age are the badges. So it's in the correct Ford font. This one is a Ghia spec. Again, 125 scale, made it in, this just says made in Germany. I've also got a few other civilian versions of this same car. So a nice chunky model. Still fairly basic. These tyres are hard plastic, but they are the correct style of wheel for the car. More or less. I think they're from a Cosworth possibly, but at least they are Sierra wheels. Let's move on. Continuing in the Ford theme, this one's slightly later. This box is into the 1990s now, I think, possibly, although the car itself is from the 80s. It's a Mark III Granada. I could be wrong on that date, I'm not quite sure. Now, it actually says Scorpio in the back, because I think this was marketed as a Ford Scorpio in Europe, but it is right-hand drive, and it does say Ford Granada on the box. And by this time, these models were really nicely made, lots of little pieces. This is a Mercedes on the back. Finest finished model cars. It says exactly detailed, can be assembled. I'm not quite sure what that means, because I think they were all marketed completely built up. Anything on the underneath of the box? Nah, nothing interesting. Quite distinctive colours in these boxes too. I remember these stripes. These were also on the 1/4 scale model car boxes. You'll notice as well it says 124 there. This time the Sierra's 125, so I'm not actually sure what it'll say under it. So here we go. I remember these cars when they came out, very luxurious back in the day. This was like a company director's car. And it was as acceptable as a BMW or a Mercedes. So it is a Granada 2.8, it says Scorpio 2.8 gear. I don't know if it will focus on that. Separate light lenses, quite like the Sierra, quite basic. Opening doors, got the correct dashboard, right hand drive. Opening bonnet, oops. Excuse me. Opening bonnet. Slightly more detail this time, we've got two different types of plastic in there, quite nice. See, it says under it, it says 125. Weird. The box for this one's actually in really good condition. I actually forgot I had the box for this one until today. I expected to go up in the loft and just find this loose like this, but it was actually in its box. Let's move on. Continuing in the Ford theme still, this is one of my favourites, Fiesta XR2i. I had a friend back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and in about 1989, his mum and dad got what must have been one of the earliest Fiesta XR2i's. They bought it brand new, and I remember we were both really excited about it. So I don't think I'd ever actually seen a real one on the road. The Mark III Fiesta itself was a fairly new car at the time, so to see the sporting variant in the metal was really quite exciting. It was red colour like this as well, with the same blue pinstripe, so this is a great reminder of that. I think this is definitely a promotional model. You've got the very sort of late 80s, early 90s decoration on the box. This says 125, made in West Germany. It's got a picture of the real car. Now this was also available in 1/4 scale in black and red. Nothing under the box. Now unfortunately, this one has got horrible big Ford stickers on it. I think these were applied as the promotional part of the promotional model, but they don't look the best. But I don't want to take them off because I think they're original. I think it might make a mess. It's by Shkabac as well. Incidentally, the only a few of the ones I'm showing you tonight are actually by Gamma. I think there's 2 or 3. We'll come to them. But most of them are actually by Skabak, but as I say, that they are pretty much one and the same. Let's try and get this box open very carefully. I got this way back in 2003. I think the price for it now would be considerably higher, because certainly the real cars command a big premium. This is a really nice model. This is probably one of my favourites. So this time we've now got door mirrors. They're a bit wobbly, but they're there. Other than that, so you've got your interior with your correct 2-spoke sports steering wheel. The wheels as well, let it down a bit. They're a bit big. I think these are just generic ones for all the model cars across the range, but Fiesta's obviously a smaller car, but the tyres are they're just a bit big, which is a shame, but overall it's still pretty nice. You've got the engine, 1.6 litre. Nice fog lamps there. I remember all the fog. I couldn't believe how many lights the car had at the front, man. The real car. That's 4 fog lamps. Crazy. And an opening boot with separate spoiler. Nice rear lights there, so it's 2 separate pieces of plastic there for indicators and rear tail lamps, and the correct square exhaust tip. What does it say underneath? January 03, that's when I bought that, yeah. What does it say? 125 Ford Fiesta, made in Germany. Really nice one, that. Next. Sorry, yet another Ford. This time it is an Orion. I'm not sure how you would classify this. It's a Mark II Orion, but it would be a Mark IV Escort. I've also got the Escort upstairs, but there's no point in showing you because it's even the same colour. They're almost identical cars, apart from one's got an extra door at the back. Same box as the Granada, so nothing different there. We won't dwell too much on that. Now, love them or hate them, some people don't like these, but prices even for a good one now are going up. I think simply because it's got a Ford badge. Well, some people say it's because it's got a Ford badge, but I think it's because they were so popular. Everybody's mum, dad, auntie or whatever had either one of these or a Fiesta of the similar age. I know my mum had a Fiesta, like that XR2i, she had a Fiesta, but she had a basic model, but you get what I mean. Everybody knew somebody that had one. So this is the booted Orion, and it is an Orion Gia. Again, correct font. I don't think it's going to focus in. Let me just try and get it to focus in on the badge. I don't know whether that's coming up on the screen or not. Correct black piece between the tail lights. Tail lights there themselves, of course. Separate pieces of plastic. Oh, I was deciding not to focus. Hold on. Let me try and... there we go. Sorry about that. So where was I? Yeah, so separate pieces of plastic for the rear lights. Hold on, I am having trouble focusing in here. Sorry about that. I'm just going to move the box. I think it might be that's troubling it. Let me see, where are we? Is that better? Let me see. Right, okay, that's a bit sharper. I'll try and move it slowly so it stays in focus. Correct wheel trims, separate door handles. Everything opens. Engine compartment. Left-hand drive. Made in Germany. And Orion in the correct font for the early 90s. 1/24 scale this one is too. This one is a bit bigger. Nice model. Let's try and see if we've got something other than a Ford. Hey, finally, something that's not a Ford. So this is a BMW 850. Broadly similar box, but it's got a flap up here. Don't know why it's got that. And this shows you the range that they've got now. Actually, now that I've seen that. So I've got that. I've got something similar to that. I've got that. I've got that and I've got that. Ah, so it's only that, and I've never seen that in 1/24 scale. That must be quite rare. Interesting, I didn't know it had that in the back. Collect them all. Well, I nearly have. I shall certainly try. Right, let's open up. These boxes are a bit flimsy, the interior plastic, that yellow stuff. Oh my god, it's absolutely awful. It's a kind of box really that I don't really like looking at it because it's not great quality. Anyway, here we are, BMW 850. So now I'm not sure if the bonnet opens on this one. Yes, it does, and the lights come up individually. So when you close that, oops, the lights are up. There's no mechanism underneath, unfortunately, for opening them. Nice door trims there. There's starting to be separate, you can't see that in the camera, there's actually separate pieces of plastic in there to sort of mark out the different materials used in the real car. So the centre console is actually black, the rest of it's grey. Nice gel badging, again nice rear lights. Now the boot, I'm not going to open it. It does open, but it catches on that rear window and I don't want to crack it. Now this is a much heavier model than the ones I've shown you before. This is a much later one. I would date this probably maybe 92. It's got the gel badges, as I say, and everything. And it also shows you the specs of the car underneath. BMW 850i, what scale are we on? 124. So it feels a lot heavier. It's nicer wheels and separate rubber tyres. It's just generally a lot nicer quality. This is by Skibak. They were evolving. Right, next. The last one I'm going to show you that's in its box is my favourite one because I actually have a real one of these sitting out in the driveway, although it's actually in Santorini blue, it's not in Tornado red like this one is. This is a promotional model, quite clearly. The Audi Cabriolet. This is a nice box. Not sure what that other sentence says. 4-sprung Dodge Technique. Ah, there you go. See underneath there it says VAG. So that confirms that is promotional. Right, let's have a look at it. Now I'm going to take this one out extra carefully because I have put some number plates on it to match my own car. Hopefully I haven't knocked the front one off because it's only sort of super glued on. No, I haven't. That's fine. Okay, back into the camera. So again, like the BMW, this is a later Skibak one. The real car came out in 1992, so this will be about then as well. Let me just put that down. I'm going to move that box out of the way because I think it's trying to focus on that. There we go. So yeah, again, proper Audi wheels, rubber tyres, nice chrome pieces there, separate badges. That's my own number plate. It's actually a photo of the actual number plate on my car. I got the correct pre-2001 font and the blue border. The boot's difficult to open, I'm not going to force it, but it does open. So inside some of the Audi Cabriolets you get wood inserts, so that tries to emulate that. I think it looks pretty good. Mine's got carbon fibre inserts because mine's a 2000 model, so we're trying to make it modern. But yeah, it captures the interior well. And this has got a V6 model. Mine's not a V6, mine's a 1.8. Again, these number plates, I made them myself. It doesn't have any specs of the car underneath, but we know it's a V6. Actually, if that's a V6, that's like maybe a slightly later car in itself. It's probably mid-90s. So I think the earlier ones were 4 and 5 cylinders. I hope that's focusing for you. This is a really nice one as well. This is actually on my bedside table because it's modelling my real car. What we'll do now is I'll show you the remainder of my 124 scale Gamma and Skibak collection. They're not boxed, but I might as well show you them anyway. I find them quite interesting. Okay, so here's the remainder of my 1/24 scale Gamma and Skibak collection. Now, they're not all Gamma or Skibak, there's one odd man out. I'll show you that when we get to it. So you've seen the E36. So this is, I think you call it an E28 7 Series. I've actually got this in 1/4 scale as well. This, I said the Fiesta was my favourite, but you know what, I think this one's actually my favourite car. Because I really like this, the real one. There's a guy in a town that I grew up in who's had one of these since I was a kid, and he still drives about in it every day. So this is a 750 IL, which means it's a long wheelbase, gel badges, opening doors, you can see inside there, opening boot, and bonnet opens too, that'll be a V12 in there. Really big model for a 1/24 scale, it's really big. Now I'm going to skip that one for now, so I'll tell you why. So this one is a BMW Z1. I actually thought I had the box for this one, but I can't find it. It was up in the loft, not in its box. So I don't know what happened. Not a gel badge on that one, which is weird, I don't know why that is. Separate light lenses, the doors that drop down. I don't know if it's going to do it. There we go. Yep, doors drop down. That was a feature of the real car. I'll just take it out the shot to get the bonnet open because it's a bit footery. There we go, it opens that way. This shows that this is a 6-cylinder one. I think the boot opens as well, yes it does. What does it say underneath? Oh, separate exhaust there, that's nice. BMW Z1, and there's some specs of the car just there as well. 170, it says it's Feder Starken, but roughly the same as horsepower. Really unusual car. This one, I'm showing you this one after because again this is another Skyback, but it's a later one. You can really see how they've come on in terms of detail and quality. So this is a W140 S-Class Mercedes. So you'll see opening doors, emulated wood trim inside. Not sure how well you can see that because it's a bit dark in this room thanks to the energy saving light bulb, I think are rubbish. Opening boot, it'll have a V12 engine, so you've got the Mercedes badge in there as well. Oh, that's quite fragile. Opening bonnet with the V12. And also you'll see later when they've now introduced steering, really nice realistic wheels and rubber tyres. Starting to go dark there, sorry about that. Underneath, full exhaust system now. Mercedes 600 SEL made in Germany. So you can see how they're really coming on. That's all separate plastic as well. Separate plastic badges. And the last Skyback I'm going to show you is this BMW E36 Cabrio. You compare it with the earlier BMW E36 I've got, which is from the early 90s. This is probably mid-90s. It's got much nicer wheels and tyres, it's got steering. The interior is really nice. I think this was just before they started to make them, you know, do these sort of emulated carpets and sort of rubbery seats that emulated leather and whatnot. Really nice. Nice badge. That's kind of a gel badge. I think the number plate's original as well. And the BMW 6-cylinder engine, a lot more detailed than the other one. Oh, we're going dark again. Sorry about that. Focus in, come on. There we go. Much more detailed. Now the reason I've left this one until last, although this looks identical and feels identical to a Gamma, this is an E36 M3. It's a bit faded. This is actually quite rare because it's actually a Schuko. Other than that, it's identical to a Gamma. I'm not sure if I've actually seen some of these online as a Gamma. Can't remember. It's lost its M3 badge, unfortunately. Gel badge there. Opening boot lid. 6-cylinder engine. So there we have it. So now I've got a nice collection of Gamma, Schwabach and Schuko 124, 125 scale cars. These are reasonably easy to find. I think the only one you'll have bother finding, I think, will be the Audi. I've never seen that in 1 to 24th scale form except for the one I have. A few in 1/4. They're on eBay. Ones like this, not these ones obviously, these are not for sale. Ones like this are on eBay. They probably will be quite expensive because they are quite hard to come by, and these are classic retro Youngtimer cars. But they are out there if that's something that you want to collect. By modern standards, they're crude, but they have character. They've got a real sort of Germanic, sort of austere feel to them, which I think a lot of the real cars had as well. So glad to share that with you. And I'm planning on going up in the loft and looking at some more of my collection in a future video.